Welcome to American University's Retire Well program. Today's topic, Navigating Relationships in Retirement, is being presented by Professor Iris Krasnow and Hank Conway from TIAA. I'm Andy Rowe, and I am the Director of Employee Wellness and Work Life in the Office of Human Resources at American University. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the average age of retirement in the United States is 62 years old. The average length of retirement is 18 years. So when you think about that, that's almost a quarter to a third of your life. Nancy Schlossberg's view of retirement includes thinking about retirement as a bridge between leaving one set of roles, relationships, routines, and assumptions and developing a new set. So it's time to think about your new life for yourself, and whether it's playing golf, changing the world, caring for grandchildren or other family members, starting a new and different career, relaxing, volunteering, or studying, it's a transition to what's next. You may be asking yourself, what are things that I can do to prepare for retirement? Rosencotter and Garris has 4 recommendations I'd like to highlight today. The first one is that if you're retiring at 55 or 60, especially if you're a woman, you probably have many years ahead of you. So you have to think about how you're going to spend your time. And your psychosocial health relies in part on you being involved in things that you really enjoy doing. You want to start developing those things earlier when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. And you can do them frequently or infrequently, but the idea is to continue them as you retire. You want to plan for a range of activities. So you want to do ones that are sedentary as well as ones that are active, ones that you can do by yourself or you can do in social situations. And you want to do things that over time may be less active as your health status changes. It's also a good idea to think about the amount and the time kind of things you want to do with your spouse, your partner, your children, your friends, and actually not just think about them, but talk to them about that. It's really important to start talking about some of the things that you're thinking about with your loved ones. A model developed by Rose and Kahn postulates that successful aging is contingent upon 3 elements. The first one is avoiding disease and disability. That's why we have the faculty and staff wellness programs at American University for you to take part in today, so that as you age, you can sustain high cognitive and physical functioning. You also, number 3, want to engage with life by maintaining your interpersonal relationships and maintaining activities that keep you productive. Some of the psychological components that you want to focus on in retirement is looking at your identity, your relationships, and purpose. And Iris will go into some more detail about that.
I am actually retiring this year, and so I am embracing and facing so many of the things that you talked about and that are bullet points on these slides. And you know, it's beyond finding passion and purpose, which is so important, but it's really feeling relevant. And I am struggling and embracing that right now. And by the way, I always think of the R word, retiring, as recharging, rebirthing, resurging. You know, there's all sorts of R words that revitalizing. And really, it's the next lap of our lives. It's the time to ask ourselves, who am I now and who do I want to become? And, you know, realizing with each birthday that the old adage is true, life is short, we are propelled into urgency to tackle unfulfilled dreams and goals. And, you know, it can mean creating new communities, moving to a new community, or staying in your old home with your old I don't want to say old spouse, but with your partner of many years. And thinking about these things, like, what's my next act about? Are you the person who sidelined your hobby or a career to devote your time to raising children? Are you the person who's yearning to go back to finishing that novel, taking acting or singing lessons, hanging a shingle and taking private clients in the field of accounting you left when your first child was born? Are you the person who wants to really make a move to a new community? So the time is now for the second act. So in terms of looking ahead, and you've got your ducks in order, you've got your money together, or you've been thinking about that, you know that you have to plan for different health care. And in the work that I do writing about relationships, and I've written 6 books on relationship, I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of men and women of all ages at all stages. And while they differ in background and experiences, I have found that we all share this crucial commonality. We want to love, we want to be loved, and we want to feel worthy. So step 1 as we go forward in our plans for retirement, and I'm speaking to myself, is to make sure you have something that you want to wake up to every single day. You are used to structure. You are used to having something to get up to every day. You're used to how your job goes, that there's you have to be somewhere at 9, you've got a schedule, and your life is programmed. What are you going to do when that structure is gone? And this is the time to really think about how you're going to revitalize those relationships in retirement. First of all, with your partners and with your family. Are you the person whose spouse or partner is already retired? That might mean making 3 meals a day for that person. You may not want to do that. So you really have to talk about how it's going to look. What's this going to look like for you? Do you want to start a home business? Do you want to start traveling? Do you have to have those hard conversations about what it is you're going to expect for each other. Maybe you have 3 kids and 6 grandchildren. Do you want to take care of 6 grandchildren all day? Talk to your kids. Maybe you are going to be the Tuesday grandma or grandpa, or maybe you're not going to be the Tuesday grandma or grandpa. But it's really time to have those honest relationships. I mean, I think there's nothing like that kind of extended family caregiving circle. It may not be for you. It may not be for you. But what is for you is to realize this. We want to love, we want to be loved, and we want to feel worthy. So what gives you your self-worth? You don't have the job anymore. You don't have this structure and stability of having your life programmed. And really, my takeaway from all the research I've done on what are the qualities that make the people feel the happiest and most fulfilled these are people who fulfilled outside of their work even, and outside of their partnerships. And I always say, I hope that most of you, or many of you, kept a finger in the artery of your old lives. Maybe you were a dancer and you're going to revive some dance classes. Maybe you used to be in high school or college plays and you had to bench that to be everything to everybody as you raised a family. This is really the time to get back into the game, be it in your professions or resurrecting lost hobbies or giving more time to charity. I've talked to a lot of 70-year-olds who get immense fulfillment from being docents at museums that they love to travel at. Go back to school, lifelong learning. So gerontologists tell us that the 3 arteries of life that lead to successful aging are to keep physically fit, to surround yourself with people who support you and I'd say adore you. And the third thing is to keep your mind going, keep engaged, keep productive. All of us in this room and in this profession at the university, we produce every day. I'm a teacher, I'm a professor. Some of you are assistants and staff members. You're running departments. We produce. So the productivity that is in our DNA from being in this profession, it continues. Produce. You want to get up in the morning. As we age and our work lives change and family structures change, we inevitably feel a sense of loss. And this sense, and I'm asking myself this now, who am I now? Without a structure and a salary, a base salary and a schedule you can count on, it is scary to wake up to an open day with no obligations on the calendar. So I say, well, and this is a cliche, don't quit your day job until you have another job. So that means right now, as you're in pre-retirement mode, think about those things that you loved and maybe lost and get back in the game. Maybe it's bowling, so that when you do 3 years, 2 months, 5 years, get into that retirement mode, you've got other arteries of life that are going to propel you out of bed in the morning. And you know, the same's true for transformations as we age. Ask yourselves what now, and I love that playful aspect of life. You know, I get a lot of letters from people who read my books on relationships, and they say, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't remember what gave me passion and purpose. I've been so busy working and taking care of being everything to everybody else, I forgot who I am. I always ask them the same question. What did you love to do as a child? What passion of your youth can you resurrect? That is when we're our most playful. It's a primal joy that comes from that playful part of ourselves. You get to be playful now. You don't have to account for every hour of your day in the workplace now. And play is so powerful. I mean, you can read oodles of things. Google the power of play, and you'll see everything you need to know. But don't Google it. Go out and get play. Get pleasure out of things that you've forgotten, little pieces of yourself that you've benched because you've been on the sidelines of watching everyone else and making everyone else's life work. And, you know, I'd say that you're never too old to resurrect the passion of your youth. You're never, ever, ever too old to resurrect that piece of yourself that made you feel primally alive. And retirement's the time to do it. You know, there's a stanza in a song called Landslide. And some of you will remember that it was first recorded by Fleetwood Mac. And in the last 10 years and maybe 15, the Dixie Chicks do this song. And it's called Landslide. And this is one of my favorite stanzas. And I'm gonna tell it to you now, but it fits so well with this theme that we've been talking about, which is to create positive, honest relationships with your family, with your partners, and most importantly, with yourselves. How your relationship with yourself is going to transform is probably the heart and the core of this next step. And the stanza goes like this from the song Landslide. I've been afraid of changing because I built my whole life around you. But children get older. I'm getting older too. Can I handle the changes in my life? Can I handle the seasons of my life? And what I've come to know through my entire 45 years as an author of books on the stages of women and men and everybody, as we move through every stage of our lives, our work lives, our family lives, our personal lives, is that we can handle every change and every loss and every season of our lives if we learn that we need to handle our own happiness. So we are in charge of this next step, and I welcome all of you to enjoy it. It's a little bit scary, but it is so exciting.